don't go your way, the first thing you say is, I'm gonna take you back to the stripper. You would never send me back to the stripper because I'm not going back.
Going to jail behind stealing a Chanel purse. Bitch, you a thief. At 60, get a job, hoe.
Yeah. Next question, Tamika. Well, guess what, bitch? You are a wannabe. Nobody is better than the original. I want everybody right now to shut the fuck up. Bitch, shut up. First of all, I don't understand why you screaming and hollering. That's why Bitch, you look a mess.
For the haters, you know where you could kiss it. Because you don't pay my bills. And I'm the baddest bitch.
And bitches don't hate. Get with the motherfucking program. Get like me.
Who you coughing at? Oh, shit.
You're not gonna speak?
Hey, maid. I see you got on your May outfit like you always do.
Stop trying to motherfucking play me for you don't get what you need. Next question, Tamika.
The tea is exceptionally good today. Who made this? Very delicious. Hold on.
Hey, my cosmic cousins, it's your girl, Nova Charm, and welcome to another episode of Astrology Tea with Nova Charm. And on today's episode, I got one that I feel like is going to be fun. So today, we're going to break down the natal chart of the Puerto Rican Princess, Joseline Hernandez. Now, as Joseline Hernandez just wrapped up her final episode and officially hung up her G-string for Zeus, I thought it would be fun to go ahead and look at her chart and see exactly what's had us so captivated with the Puerto Rican Princess for well over a decade, baby. Cause let's face it, y'all, ever since she graced our screen back in 2012 on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, we've been talking about her ever since. Now, whether you love or hate her overly aggressive raunchiness, one thing is definitely for sure. She knows how to get the people talking. And I'm personally going to miss her on my TV screen. Because I'll be damned if I pick up another subscription, y'all. Just saying. So, Cosmic Cousins, go on and let me pour you up some of this tea. And before you get too comfy cozy, go on and hit that like, go on and hit that subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of this cosmic tea that I be trying to sip with y'all. Let's get into it. Now, ever since Joseline put her foot down and let Stevie J know, and all of us, that she was no longer going back to the strip club, she's been standing on business ever since. Joseline transitioned from being a supporting cast member on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta to dominating the executive producer field to becoming a cultural icon within the subscription video on demand when it comes to that Zeus. Our girl even finally found her lane when it comes to her music. Now, Joseline's evolution is not built on dumb luck. No, absolutely not. Because those astrological blueprints, those are the things that prioritize power. And when I say this girl got a powerful chart, she got an insanely powerful chart full of independence, a transmutation of early life trauma that was transformed into commercial capital. We're going to break down her leadership style, that wild ass temper, and her strategies which pioneered her into her own brand ownership of 2026. Starting with that sun sign. Now, if you know Joseline, then you probably already know that she is a Scorpio sun. She said that on many occasions. Now, unfortunately, I did not find her time of birth and was not able to confirm her rising sign. I am suspicious that she is a Sagittarius rising. However, I have no way of proving that, so I'm going to just leave that off the table. And she is a Sagittarius moon, so that could be where that energy is coming from. Now, in addition, Joseline is also a Scorpio Mercury, and she's a Scorpio Venus. Her Mars sits in Aquarius. Her Jupiter sits in Pisces. She has a Sagittarius Saturn, and Sagittarius also sits in Uranus for her. Her Pluto also sits in Scorpio. Her Neptune sits in Capricorn. Her Chiron sits in Gemini, and her North Node sits in Aries. And y'all wonder why she acts the way she do. And this is why I love looking at the charts of some of the wildest characters that we've ever come across, because their chart always explains it all. Anytime I look at somebody's chart, it always makes sense to me. It always makes perfect sense. So let's break it down. So let's go ahead and proceed to break down exactly why Joseline's chart makes sense to her. Now, for starters, we've talked about the fact that she is a Scorpio sun. She loves the fact that she is a Scorpio sun. But the fact that she has a Scorpio stellium really just defines that for her. Now, Scorpio is the sign of the Phoenix. It represents that cycle of death and rebirth. And this is literally the energy that has dictated her ability to navigate the underworld. Joseline has never been shy about telling us her story. And due to her unstable home life, she definitely had to do things at an early age that I would not wish on any little girl. Joseline grew up fast and started stripping while she was still in her teens. Now, even though I hate that she had to go through this at the tender age of 16, this is not a life for her. That Scorpio energy, though, did help her maneuver through this industry so she didn't get swallowed up in it and ended up emerging on top. Now, because Joseline has so many Scorpio placements, and Scorpio is that house of secrets, it lets me know, especially with this being in her sun sign, her persona is something that was created as a device of power. Now, I always tell y'all the sun sign is how we like to shine out into the world. So it's no wonder that Joseline always enforces her power when it comes to them girls on her show. The real Joseline, we will probably never even really see her on our TV screen. That Joseline is hidden. And we've even heard some of the girls even say that Joseline is nothing like that off camera, and so it becomes confusing for them. But that's that Scorpio energy. And don't get it twisted. Joseline's not doing this for reality TV fame. Like I said, baby girl been doing this for well over a decade. I feel like the point's been proven. This comes from a need of power and self-preservation. For a Scorpio sun, trust is currency that is rarely spent. This is why she has this us against the world when it comes to her and her partner Ballistic. Her even pairing up with him was a power play. She knew them beats that he had worked good with her voice, and she knew by teaming up with him, it would be more of an alliance. Whereas with her connection with Stevie, it was more like he wanted to be the boss of her and always felt the need to try and put her down and put her back in her place. But that's what happens when you have two Scorpio suns going head to head. Ballistic is a Virgo sun, so he don't mind her taking the spotlight, and he certainly don't mind helping. Scorpio suns are about building that legacy. I like to say the sun sign is the highlighter, and it's the energy that we like to reflect out into the world. And for Joseline, she wants to reflect an image of power, longevity, sexiness, and an expectation of her dancers of blind loyalty. Now, staying on the Scorpio energy, let's talk about her Venus in Scorpio, because it was actually in retrograde at the time of her birth. This energy actually gives a karma about worth and loyalty. Now, Venus in Scorpio is technically in its detriment. That means it doesn't do well there at all, okay? It's in a position where the planet of the harmony is forced to operate in the sign of its intensity and suspicion. Now, by Venus being in retrograde at her birth, this means her values are internalized. In this position, a lot of times you feel like you're not good enough. But this is something that is actually an internal battle. But for me, it definitely explains a lot. We have watched Joseline on this show snap time after time after time. Whenever she picks up or senses that she can't trust you, or she is somehow feeling like your value is somehow outweighing her value, we watch that Scorpio stinger get to stinging them bitches. And honestly, it's pitiful to see. I really be asking myself why they do that, but then I have to remember the type of field that they coming from. Unfortunately, this is the norm for them. But nevertheless, this is why she requires her cabaret girls to give her that unquestionable loyalty. This planet in retrograde here suggests that she views relationships through a lens of past life or childhood betrayal. Now, this energy often leads her to test your behavior. So it's almost like her energy will sniff a certain behavior or a certain energy on someone else, and she'll instantly get to testing them just to see how they'll react. And we've watched her push people to their breaking point over and over and over again on her show. And if you can handle all of that and remain loyal through it, then that means you've earned her loyalty until she decides to test you again. This is where that whole bottom bitch energy come from. I mean, of course it come from the streets, you know. And that's a part of the strip club / adult entertainment lingo, you know. But Joseline really embraces that hierarchy. And for her, watching certain dancers like Danny, Oceans, and Andrea clawing at that attention and always trying to prove themselves satisfies that need of devotion that Joseline be needing, you know. But But this is actually a bottomless pit, you know, because I always tell y'all on this channel, retrogrades is about internal things. This is not nothing that somebody else can provide for you. Now, another planet that was in retrograde at the time of her birth was Mercury. Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio. Now, this is dealing with her communication, as well as this is her investigation tool. Now, Mercury in Scorpio is already a suspicious mind, but being in retrograde, my lord. Now, when I see a placement like this, I automatically think about times when Joseline done went off on somebody, and another person might comment like, Joseline, dang, they ain't even did nothing. And she'll say something like, I felt like that bitch was going to say, you know, she just uses that Scorpio energy, that intuitiveness, that investigative mind, that sharpness to literally read the hell out of somebody else's energy. She's able to psychologically pick out your soft spots. And she damn sure don't do no type of small talk. She's always seeking some type of truth, even to the point to where she starts to provoke people. Mercury deals with the mind, so she's always thinking about a power play. And once again, it adds to her paranoia about not trusting people and thinking that somebody is trying to do her wrong. And seeing as how it's in retrograde, it's often in reflection on how she's been done in the past. After all, water does hold on to memory. You can tell Joseline has been slighted in her past. She's been made to feel small in her past. And you can tell by how she tries to always enforce her power with others. Now, we all watched it go down when she was with Stevie J. But let's be real. In her industry, I'm sure it happened before. Scorpio and Mercury wants to break you down verbally. And then they'll build you back up. Joseline calls them girls all kinds of slutball bitches. And then I turn around and tell them that she love them. And then I turn around again and tell them that she don't. All I'm saying is, she uses her words like a surgical instrument. Now, Joseline is very sharp with her words, but sometimes she doesn't always say exactly what she means. With this type of energy, you're definitely prone for miscommunication. And with that retrograde energy, she's misunderstood often. This energy makes her speak and talk with authority and power. And all of this energy being in her personal planets definitely make my girl completely possessive and incredibly obsessive. Now, while that Scorpio stellium provides that depth, her 3 planets in Sagittarius, which is the Moon, Saturn, and Uranus, provide a scale and a diva persona that demands a large stage. Sagittarius moons have a need for emotional freedom. They greatly lack restriction. Now, while that Scorpio energy is captivating you with that sexy, seductress energy, that Sagittarius energy is waiting in the wings to take you on that wild side. A Sagittarius moon is untamable, honey. You not about to box her in. When I seen this placement, I instantly thought about her leaving Love and Hip Hop Atlanta and how she was telling everybody off and letting everybody know who the fuck she was off top, and you wasn't going to be able to hold her back. When I say our girl had enough of Mona Scott Young, baby. But I think Joseline proved her point. Now, that Sagittarius moon fuels her desire to travel and expand her brand. Doing season after season, city after city, cabaret dancer after cabaret dancer, she was able to expand her brand with every season, from Miami to Atlanta to Los Angeles, New York, Houston, and even in California. Our girl was all over the map, baby. And that was just for the filming of the show. The actual cabaret show seems to pretty much travel year round. And baby, they be in every single state. Now, because Pop Saturn is involved with the Sagittarius energy, you already know I gotta speak on the tea on this. Sagittarius energy loves its freedom. However, Saturn ain't trying to give nobody no free nothing. It's that planet of restriction. It's here for the discipline, and you better make sure you flying straight. Ever Pop Saturn is around. And seeing as how that energy is within her Sagittarius energy, as well as her Uranus, which is the planet of shock and awe, this energy can bring in some major shakeups and up and down when it comes to her career, as well as her traditional path. Now, whenever I see this energy, especially when I see Sagittarius and Saturn, it gives very much my way or the highway. This energy does not give her an open mind. She is not open to the perspective of others, which adds on to that Scorpio energy that just wants loyalty, blind loyalty at that. Now, because Uranus is all about innovation and it's also about the internet, it deals with streaming. This is why that Zeus path was a major for her. It was literally written in the stars that this would work out for her. All she needed was for the opportunity to present itself. Most people copped their Zeus subscription for the first time in 2019 after that double homicide comment that went viral. Let's face it, Joseline put Zeus on the map. This breaks the mold of the traditional TV when you're dealing with production companies and hoping that somebody gives you an opportunity for your show. This is about taking the opportunity in your own hands and gaining ownership over your own intellectual properties, honey. We talking bullshit and major expansions. And this energy also plays into her Aquarius and Mars. Mars is how you assert yourself and how you go after things and your fights. And like I said before, Aquarius represents that internet and the viral moments. So having that double homicide comment being said on her show, as well as a lot of those fights going viral, definitely played into that Aquarius and Mars as well. Mars also deals with the sex. So the fact that Joseline's cabaret is so Mars coded when it comes to the fighting and the sex, yeah, okay. And it coming out at a time when streaming services was really kind of taking over. This was a creative, innovative way of streaming using technology, which is so Aquarius, okay? Now, we did talk earlier about some of Joseline's insecurities, and her Chiron and her Lilith placement actually increases for her. Now, both of these placements actually sit in Gemini, and this is probably one of the most revealing aspects of her psychological profile on camera. Gemini being the sign of communication, siblings, and your local environment. When it's paired with the wounded healer, which is Chiron, and that bad bitch, that dark moon Lilith, her greatest source of pain and her repressed power comes from her voice. Now, we have all made fun of Joseline how she talked. Let's just be real. From the moment we heard her say Stevie, it was over. One of Joseline's biggest goals was to have her voice heard through her music. Now, that's not something that the masses always supported. As a matter of fact, there was a clip that went viral of Joseline high as hell on the mic in a hot and sweaty ass studio. Y'all know the clip that I'm talking about. This damn sure did not help us take her seriously. Now, with Chiron, this is typically a wound that we develop when we're a child. And it follows us throughout life into our adulthood until we get to a point of mastery with this energy and we learn how to teach others. Now, with Joseline's being in Gemini, it does suggest that this is an individual who felt unheard or intellectually belittled in her early life, even down to the way she demeans the girls. She thinks of any type of low-class, gutter-butt thing that she could say to these girls and consistently questions their intelligence. Now, baby, this is classic projection. And this is that wound showing up in the flesh. See, Joseline feels by asserting herself intellectually and in a professional, superior type of way, she can actually soothe that internal fear of being perceived as not enough and being made fun of. Joseline always telling them girl to learn the steps. But baby, it's not even about the dance. Ricardo ain't even that great of a choreographer. If we all being real, okay? No, baby. This is all about mental discipline when it comes to her. And this is something that she likely developed when she was in survival mode. Now, when it comes to how this Lilith energy plays into that, this energy makes her a verbal terrorist. Now, because of the fact that Gemini is represented by the twins, this energy has a dual persona. So one minute it could be charming the shit out of you, and then the next minute it could be cruel as hell. This energy gives heavy split effect. So when you're utilizing it, it could definitely come off as though you have dual personalities, like a split personality. And in addition, this energy will also use gossip as a secret weapon. Now, one thing we know about that Scorpio stellium of hers is it's going to love a good secret and it's going to collect them. The detective in her is going to scan and find every little thing that she can find. And this song of the siren energy that her Lilith and Gemini energy brings is going to hold that shit right over your head. When it comes to the cabaret girls, this gives her the dual ability to not only come off as a mother figure, but also their worst enemy. Now, this energy actually plays into her insecurities, and it can really come off like that. But this energy in particular is not really about insecurity. Astrologically, it's all about raw expression. She got some other insecure placements that help out with that, okay? Lilith is that rebel in us all. And so in this area, she's damn sure going to refuse to be silenced or categorized. Now, let's hop over to her relationship dynamics for a minute, okay? Because there's obviously a difference when it comes to her relationship with CVJ versus her relationship with Ballistic. Now, I damn sure ain't saying Ballistic is Prince Charming or anything. We have all seen his temper go a little bit too far. But one thing that we cannot deny is when it comes to Joseline, he is down for her 1,000%. Not saying that Stevie J wasn't down for Joseline too. It was just the power dynamic of it all. I mentioned before that Stevie J is a Scorpio sun. Now, we're not going to break down his placements or Ballistic's placements unless y'all ask me to in the comments, okay? I'll do another video where I'm breaking down the power dynamics of both of those relationships. But for the purposes of the video, we're just going to kind of skim through it. Now, on Love and Hip Hop, we've seen that power dynamic and that power imbalance. Stevie J was already an established producer, and he came in almost with a savior complex because he represented that gateway to the industry for her. He pulled her out of the clubs, and he held it over her head every chance that he got that he could send her back at any time, making her feel like he was her only option for success. Now, you already know we're going somewhere with this astrologically now. By Joseline's North Node being in Aries, that means that her South Node is in Libra. Libra is represented by Venus. Now, of course, Venus is that planet of partnerships, relationships. And if we remember correctly where this is for Joseline, hers is in Scorpio. And it's also in retrograde. And so is her North Node. Now, I'm sure if I went further in Stevie J's chart, I could find a whole lot of other things too. But the main thing was his Scorpio sun. That sitting in her Venus and being connected to her South Node was definitely a lesson for her to overcome. Libra is the scale, and that scale is about justice, being balanced and fair. Libra energy, as well as Venus energy, serves as that mirror for us. So when I see this in her chart, it further confirms for me that Stevie J was definitely a lesson. And his energy was something that had to be overcome. In this lifetime, she was not meant to seek her identity through her partnerships. Anytime they tried to go forward on their journey together, the energy astrologically Uno reversed that shit, okay? Stevie J holding that career over her head was the best thing for her, because it actually set her on her soul path of her North Node, where she focused on herself and putting herself first. Our girl wanted to get married bad, and he did her the biggest favor by providing her with a fake marriage. The universe really do be protecting us if we just don't even know it. And with all the legal battles that she went through with Bonnie Bella, further confirmed that Stephen Jordan was definitely a karmic for her and was something that was supposed to be left in the past. And by walking away from that relationship, justice was definitely served. Now, when it comes to Ballistic Beats, this is her enforcer. One thing Joseline gonna do if nobody else is listening to her is call on Ballistic. Now, of course, we may not always agree with how Ballistic get down. I know I haven't. But when it comes to Joseline, he serves more of her partnerships for this lifetime. With her Venus being in Scorpio, it's all about that shared resources, that shared love, that balanced and equal partnerships that puts her in the front running. Ballistic doesn't feel the need to hop on the mic or hop on the piano on any of Joseline's songs. He sits back and watches as she takes center stage. He allows her to embrace that Aries North Node of that soul path of leading the way. And because of the fact that it's more of a partnership, she doesn't mind allowing him to take the lead when it comes to their relationship. Now, we all know Ballistic holds it down for Joseline. And we all know that he's held her down to a fault, too. Because when things start to get physical, they get physical. And a $25 million lawsuit is on the line right now because of some of those physicalities. Once Joseline put her foot down, which we all seen on Marriage Boot Camp, she ultimately gave Ballistic an ultimatum, giving him 8 months to put a ring on her finger. Scorpio energy requires total commitment. I told y'all, they want blind loyalty, okay? So by that being in her Venus, if you think that she don't want a commitment from that man, or any man that she is with, you must be insane. Now, because she got that Aquarius Mars in there is a lot of freedom and a lot of open-mindedness when it comes to that bedroom. Whenever I see Aquarius paired with Mars or any type of Scorpio and Uranus type of energy, you definitely like a variety of different things. And not everybody has to have the same equipment either. But trust me when I say Joseline's freaky side and her power domination when it comes to the ladies in the bedroom has nothing to do with the fact that she still requires a commitment. Now, it's going to be an unconventional commitment, but it's still going to be a commitment, okay? Now, since I brought up that $25 million lawsuit, let's go ahead and talk about it. Because there's a few of them cabaret dancers that don't be putting up with Joseline shit. 4 of Joseline's dancers filed a lawsuit back in April of 2022 for assault. Now, this was during the season 2 reunion of Joseline's Cabaret Atlanta. Now, I think this is kind of the first time we've really seen Joseline put her little henchmen out as to work, because I guess the call was Gucci Gang. And as soon as she said that, it went down. Now, during this time, Amber caught a boot in the chest. Now, the suit also included security. Now, it said that the Zeus security held the dancers back so that Joseline and Ballistic could get their licks in. Now, Joseline didn't give a damn. She went to the internet and bragged about it on Twitter, talking about I had to Mortal Kombat that hoe. Now, because of this, there were a lot of people who are requesting Joseline's show be canceled. But it's moments like this and others that kind of help cement her show. Now, nobody makes Joseline go viral more than Big Legs. I mean, it was literally Big Legs comment about double homicide that had Joseline's show going viral in the first place. And we all remember that viral moment of that big ass fight where Joseline was running around slapping everybody backstage at the Floyd Mayweather fight. Now, keeping in mind, I talked about before that it's Joseline's Mars and Aquarius that helps her with those viral moments. And child, wouldn't you know Big Les is an Aquarius sun? Now tell me astrology don't be just astrologying, okay? Now, because a lot of Joseline's success is centered around Piscean energy. Her Jupiter is in Pisces. It's in retrograde, but it's in Pisces. And her Neptune, which is, the house or the planet of Pisces, sits in Capricorn, which deals with your success, your reputation, and your career. This energy tells me that Joseline has spiritual visions of what she wants her future to be like. She feels the potential in not only her dancers, but in every opportunity that comes her way. The problem with this is Neptune and Pisces energy deals with the illusion of it all. It loves your dreams, but them illusions can do a number on your ass. And because this energy is boundless, it can sometimes cross the line. And that line is between the mentorship and the exploitation. And them lines can often get blurred, especially when Joseline feels like she's been wronged and she's been victimized by one of the dancers. She'll literally use that as an excuse not to pay somebody. We literally just seen that happen with Sky. This energy just gives illusion of authority, which goes back to that insecurity that we talked about and not feeling like she measures up. She pushes the dynamic of power to a point to where, because she's so insecure about her power, it crosses over into being a tyrant and abusive. Now, just like Joseline used that Aries energy to walk away from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, and she used that same Aries and Mars energy to innovate that Joseline's Cabaret and make it a #1 show on Zeus. Now, we're going to see how she's going to use this Aries energy and that Mars energy. Now, we've heard Joseline play around with some ideas, maybe even having like a type of scripted show, almost like a P-Valley type of gig. And because her music is on an independent label, we know that she could keep running up the bag when it comes to those stripper anthems. Now, in the past, she has used Zeus to market her albums, so I don't know how that's going to work, because there's been so many eyes on Zeus. And Joseline knows she's taking a big risk, but this is a huge and another big innovative move for her. Why Are You Here TV is Joseline's very own streaming network. And as she departs from Zeus, she's damn sure not missing a beat, with the first show airing on the last week of January with the new show, The Dancing Freaks. Now, she is taking a big risk, but that's that Aries and that's that Mars energy. It's all about taking those risks and being confident in yourself and stepping out there. Now, Joseline's career is a testament of power. With that Scorpio sun and that Aries North Node, Joseline shows us exactly how that Mars energy is done. Now, while we may not agree with her methods at all, especially with her requirement of a cult-like personality, as controversial as her energy is, one thing is for sure, it's consistent. She was born under those emotional waters, and her fire energy protects it every step of the way. Now, I'm sure this leap that Joseline is taking is probably really scary to her, and a lot of people may not understand why it's necessary for her to make this move. However, by Joseline leaving, she's literally fulfilling her natal promise. She's meant to stand alone as a singular powerhouse. This is her cabaret and her empire. Now, even though we may not agree with Joseline's path, one thing's for sure, she's a survivor, and she's definitely learned how to transmute her pain and turn that into a multi-million-dollar brand. So whether you love her or hate her, you can never discount her grind. Well, Cosmic Cousins, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you're still here listening, make sure that you go ahead and hit that like, go on and subscribe to your girl, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of this Cosmic Tea that I be wanting to sip with y'all. And I'm out of here.